start off, I mean, coming into the game, Oklahoma Panhandle was 8-2, had beaten the number one Division I NAIA team in the country, Texas Wesleyan, who has a high major Division I transfer, a couple Division I mid-major transfers, and they beat a Division II team the other night at Southwest Oklahoma. So probably I was expecting it. Without their point guard, DK Sumo, it kind of changes the dynamic of the team. It really puts some pressure on their
Where was he at?
He got hurt right before the Southwest Oklahoma game, so he didn't play. So that was a big blow. He's a guy that was their second leading scorer, averaging 17 a game. And so without him, the other guys had to kind of do a little bit, probably too much. And, for a team like that, for our guys, what we asked them to do, what the game plan was, I thought our guys executed that to a T. They're a team that's very dangerous from the three. A guy like Tyler Pate, who is a Division I transfer from Florida Atlantic, he's a guy, if you don't guard him right, can get a lot of them off. Our goal was to get have them attempt 15 threes. They got 18, but I thought we did a good job of keeping them off the 3-point line, and then keeping them off the glass. Jaden Whitfield's a guy coming into the game, was averaging close to 13 rebounds a game. Kept him off the glass, minimized second chances. We felt like there was no way they could beat us with twos, and that was good for our guys to see the ball go in the basket the way they did, because what we'll see on Wednesday with Denver is a team that's really going to pack the defense in. They're going to try to bait us into shooting a lot of threes, a lot of pull-up threes and long twos. And so for us to kind of see that a little bit tonight, but also just to make sure to see the ball go in the basket was a big plus.
Give your big guys, your frontliners, some good rest, and they've had all week, which is nice. So they, I can, and I'm going to do a story. It's going to just be by the numbers because it's such a blowout. But I'm sure there were some things that you felt like you accomplished that you wanted to. 34. Did you figure on shooting over 33s?
No, I thought just with the way we're shooting. Right now we're at 345 out of 351 when it comes to 3-point field goal percentage. But I also know the numbers. We're not a 26% 3-point shooting team, and so eventually the numbers were going to change. And our thing is just shooting the right shots. And sometimes why we have a low percentage is guys understand what a good shot and an okay shot is. An okay shot is a bad shot. And I thought tonight our guys, which they've done, I think, really over the course of the last 3 or 4 games, is really make sure that we're shooting the right ones. And of those 34 threes, I don't think there was one or two that were really contested, that were shots that I thought were just okay or bad shots. And when you shoot good shots, we're going to shoot a good percentage. And so it was good. I said it was good for our guys to see the ball go in the basket. It was good for Dre to see the ball go back in. He's too good of a shooter. And then, for Ant to come out in 22 minutes to get 10 and 7. And Chaz to be a guy that when he shoots the right shots, he should be a 50% 3-point shooter. And he was 4 for 8. And he was probably 4 for 6 until his last couple of minutes when it was kind of a runaway.
And talk a little bit about Jalen Sanders and how, if he is ahead of schedule, just how fluid he is. And, I'm not a basketball guy, but I don't see him making freshman mistakes.
Well, you got a good eye there, Sam. He's the guy that I would say that in recruiting you got to get lucky, and I think he's a guy that I think was really misevaluated by a lot of people, a lot of schools in the state, a lot of schools in the country. He's a guy that doesn't play like a freshman. I think he surprised me just in terms of his basketball IQ and feel. He said he doesn't play like a freshman. He doesn't make freshman mistakes. He has a high level of concentration, and that probably also goes, a large part to he came from a very successful high school program that preached the right things, and he's a guy that it's hard to keep. It's kind of like Jonah, where he's a guy that's hard to keep off the floor just because he just makes so many plays. He's a guy that when people talk about being a stat sheet stuffer, he's a guy that stuffs the stat sheet. He's a guy that's 3 assists, 1 turnover, 1 block, 3 steals, and then 21 and 9. He's a guy that's going to be a really, really good player for the next 3 years.
Jeff, don't take this wrong. How do you get them to come here? It's a long way to go.
Yeah, and that's where in terms of for those guys to get a little bit of extra money, I mean, like us, with some of the teams that we got to play, the bigger Division I schools, the western states, the Panhandle states, the northern New Mexicos, they need to be.
Do you have to pay them something to come here?
Yeah, there's a game guarantee for them to
How much
come.
is it?
Well, it fluctuates.
How much was tonight?
I don't know off the top of my head. I don't.
Yeah, it's $3,000 to $4,000, which for them, every dollar, every
I
penny,
guess that probably covers it.
yeah, it goes a long ways for them. And so, that's where in the case of them is also the reality that we live in terms of scheduling. I mean, that's where I'd love to have like our women's program, to be able to have Colorado State come in and play, and have Colorado come in and play. But that's not the reality of Division I men's scheduling. It's a completely different world than Division I women's scheduling.
Well, Division I men don't want to come to a mid-major because it's,
Well, they don't have to, and so that's where you'll never get those same teams, because at the end of the day, those guys can pay Northern Colorado $90,000 to $95,000 to come play on their home court.
Stacy went nuts when he had to come here 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
And at the same time, too, for us to be able to get some of those schools to come here, then we end up having to play 2-for-1s. And then I'm not going to sacrifice our program for 2-for-1s. If someone wants to come here and play a home and home or true home and home, we're all for it. We'll play anybody in the country. But at the same time,
It doesn't help your RPI though at all.
no, they don't factor. Division II non-D1 games don't factor into your RPI. But for us, I mean, it's a challenge to get teams, especially when you're perceived to be good, when you're perceived by other schools to be good and have good players. I mean, they don't want to take the chance of scheduling a team like us and teams in our league. And that's why you see, if you go through and you look at the home schedule for all the teams in our conference, you're going to see a lot of non-D1s, because you're not going to get, Weber State's not going to get good Division I's coming into their gym. I mean, Utah State's going to come there because it's a state law. Montana, the good teams at this level, you're not going to get home games. That's the reality of it. I wish I could get CSU over here. I wish I could get Colorado, but at the end of the day, they control that. I don't. And if we can just keep winning games, keep getting better, keep building the program to where, as when I was at Boise State, we started out where, we didn't get the Oregons of the world coming and playing at Taco Bell Arena when we were there. But, when you build your program, you start winning games, and you start building your RPI to where now some of those, so-called bigger schools, they don't see it like where if we come on the road and lose a game, it's not going to be a killer on our RPI. So that's what we got to build towards as a program.
This coach has been everywhere. He's coached a lot of places at different levels.
He's
in like 5 Hall of Fames.
Yeah, he's according to his bio. Yeah, he's been there a long time. He was a guy that was at Montana State as an assistant back in the early '90s when they had some really good teams. He's been around a long time, and it was good for us to play against the guy that's going to have a team that's going to try to do the right things. Sometimes you bring in some of those teams and some of the Oklahoma Panhandle State teams in the past when I was at Division II level when Coach wasn't there. I mean, it was pretty wild, but at least they tried to play the right way and try to do the right things. And but at the same time too, you can only control what you can control, and I thought our guys did a great job.
Control those uniforms.
Yeah, which if that was probably, if it was probably another Division I team, I'm not sure if you could wear those shorts.
It looked like a high school all-star.
Yeah, so that was, but hey, I'm not the uniform cop, so I got enough issues to worry about what jerseys they decide to wear.
I think that one guy was wearing Nike soccer shoes.
That's probably why he sprained his ankle.
Yeah, no, it was another guy. It wasn't that guy. It looked like he probably got him off some knockoff website. It's crazy. All right, we're good.
Okay. All right, appreciate it.